Hey everybody, hope you're doing well today. It's Friday. um, anyhow, I've got some pieces here. I'm going to create a little dragonfly. And just so you know, let's see, do I have it here? Yep. So I made kind of a rough sketch, just trying to think this guy through in 3 dimensions. How I'm going to construct them using that idea that I shared with you yesterday, kind of the base and cutting the pieces. So that's kind of guiding me. I've got two equal sized pieces of cardboard that I've prepared here. I'm going to use this to kind of create wings. I'm going to draw on the cardboard. I've got just kind of a Sharpie here, something like a Sharpie. And I'm going to create kind of the body and the head for this guy. So I'm going to kind of extend that. And I feel okay about that, the way that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Remember, so I want these two pieces to be the same, so I'm going to cut them out at the same time. Kind of my thinking there. Hopefully you've got some good scissors. If you've got small scissors, not some of these larger scissors, then you're going to probably need to cut these two pieces of cardboard separately, because this is a little bit tricky. I like to, just a little tip, I like to cut at the back of the pair of scissors. You get a little more strength when you're doing that. And again, when you're cutting something really kind of thick like this, I'm just I'm making little cuts instead of trying to use the whole full length of the scissors. So, all right, almost through here. There we go. All right, I'm saving these pieces because very likely I'm going to use some of it for wings. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and cut. I'm going to put two, based on kind of my sketch that I made, I'm going to put two sets of wings that will come across this guy's body. I think here, probably, and here. So, and I think I've got enough with this base of cardboard to probably make my wings. So, and it should be, let's see, I'm just kind of visualizing this to the side. I'm going to want to make a pair of wings, I think, that are shorter, smaller, which I think I'm going to use this for, and then I'm going to get a slightly larger piece of cardboard to make the other pair of wings. So I'll go ahead and draw on here some wings that I would like. I'm using my image again, just kind of my way of thinking through it. I'm going to have the top here be flat, and so I'm going to make a little curve here. Kind of imagine where the center is. All right, that'll work. And create this kind of a little notch there. All right, gonna cut this out. So on a cut like this, if it's kind of difficult to cut, I'm not going to worry about cutting out this intricate part just yet. I'm just going to cut all the way across, and then I'll come back and cut that slightly trickier part. Just cutting that curve there. And now I'll cut this small notch here. And I'm gonna, let's do it like this. Alright, set these guys aside. Gonna save this little scrap of cardboard. And let's go ahead. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut 2 little notches here, about halfway through. And I'm going to come over. Remember I said I was going to put these wings on the back. So I'm going to cut 2 small notches here. Looks like a good length. And, oh, that's funny. That's okay. So I cut 2 wings, and I really only needed 1. But that's all right. That's all right. I'll use the other one to help me kind of think about the size, how much, so I can make the other pair of wings or the other wing larger. I'll use this other one to kind of think about that. I'm just kind of assembling just to see what this guy looks like. There we go. And I've got, nice thing about cardboard is I can kind of bend it. You can see I've got kind of the beginnings of a dragonfly here. So I'm going to set this aside for a second. I'm going to use, so I've got this larger piece. And like I said, I want to make another set of wings. I want to make these just a little bit larger. So I'm going to kind of use this as a guide. Got this. I'll just kind of keep an eye on, so I've got about ½ an inch, maybe a little bit more. I'm going to extend the wing here, and then you can see I'm not tracing exactly, I'm just kind of drawing around, and that should be good. So I'll set that aside. I'm going to go ahead and cut this guy out. It is much easier to cut through a single layer of cardboard, so just try to think your pieces through so you can save yourself a little bit of difficulty. Notice too, so I'm not worrying about cutting out the shape, I'm just cutting this out. A smaller strip will make it much easier for me as far as like working with this material, so it's easier to hold, easier to kind of maneuver as I'm doing these cuts. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish cutting around here. Cutting straight across here. And there we go. Set this aside. So I've got another wing here. Going to cut about halfway up these little notches here. And now I'm going to, let's see, can I press this together? I'm trying to decide if I want to take this apart to make this, and I think I do. So I'm going to take this portion of the wing off so that I can make this other notch and make them in the same place. So I'm going to hold them together and cut about ½ an inch in. So got that guy there, and now I can kind of reassemble just so I can look at what I've got and what I'm going to be working with. So I'm going to put this guy back where he was. Keep in mind, so if you cut this cardboard fairly thin, it might end up getting a little bit fragile, so just kind of keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can attach this guy. Thinking now, so I just turned this because I want the cardboard to face forward so that I can maybe draw on this later. At least that's my thinking there. So just kind of pushing this notch in. There we go. Now I'll put the other side in. Alright. Might have to do a little bit of kind of shaping. So I'm just kind of looking at the whole thing in general right now. I think I'm gonna do something to connect the ends here, and I think it would make sense to do something to connect the front as well. So I'm just kind of looking at it. You can see I've got kind of my beginning for my what will be a dragonfly. So I'm going to add, if I go back to my sketch, I'm going to add some legs that come down off of it, and I'm going to, that might be it. I think I'm going to add, it's not here in my drawing, but as I've thought about it, I definitely want something to kind of make these wings look more three-dimensional if you were looking at it from the top. So I know that little drawing there may not have been helpful in showing that, but I'll show you a side view. So right now, if my wing is a straight, I'm looking at my dragonfly from the side, which would be this angle. You can see it's very kind of two-dimensional. So what I'm going to, I think, create is something that will make it so that when I look at it from the side, I also see kind of this little piece of cardboard. All right, I'm going to stop this video here. I'm going to make another one a little bit later, just so you can, so you don't have to watch the entire thing, but you can see this is my beginning. If you were to stop here and create more on your own, I would love to see kind of your take on how this goes, how this guy kind of gets continued. I think for the rest of mine, I'm going to create just kind of a little time lapse, so you can watch, you can see that process instead of having to, hear me drone on about how I'm making this thing. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see some of you next week officially when you're back in my class as my students. So all right, I'll see you.